The moon hung low over the domes of the Ny-Ålesund Arctic Observatory, its disk smeared by nacreous clouds that shimmered like oil on water. Ava Ramirez shoved her gloved hands into the pockets of her down parka and glared at the shadows falling across the giant white telescope enclosure. She had flown from Tucson to Oslo, from Oslo to Longyearbyen, then crossed Svalbard's frozen fjords by helicopter, all for tonight's 8-hour block of observing time. The committee had approved her program months ago, a rapid scan survey of the far northern sky for potential Earth-crossing objects. Yet when she pushed through the security gate, she nearly collided with a tall man in an orange survival suit loading crates of electronics onto an equipment sled. His blonde hair had escaped a wool cap, and frost glittered along the ends like silver filings. He read her badge, raised a brow, and extended a gloved hand. "Dr. Ava Ramirez, right? I'm Eric Lund. My team's scheduled on the main instrument tonight." Ava's stomach dropped. "That's impossible. I have confirmation from the committee. February 15th, 20 to 04 UTC. 8 hours on the Fjordscope." Eric withdrew a folded sheet from an inner pocket, an identical confirmation, but dated 3 days later, stamped with the emergency seal. "Our primary instrument in Chile went down. We filed for urgent time to finish a near-Earth asteroid follow-up. They bumped us here." The cold stung Ava's cheeks as though the wind itself were mocking her. Weeks of planning, models, and graduate students waiting back in Tucson, suddenly at risk. She bit back the urge to shout. Arguments wasted heat. "This is a €1 million facility. Someone's double-booked it. We need to call the committee." "I've tried," Eric said, nodding toward the satellite dish half buried in snow. "Auroral interference. We can't get a stable link until the K-index settles." Ava glanced at the sky. Curtains of green light rippled above like celestial silk. Beautiful, but right now, the aurora was sabotaging both of them. So, the telescope sits idle while bureaucracy untangles itself? "Unless we do something creative," Eric said, voice muffled by his scarf. "My program needs the first 2 hours, tracking a fast-moving object before it slips below the horizon. After that, the field's clear until dawn. Maybe we could share?" Ava finished, skeptical. "Compromise." His blue eyes flashed a tentative smile. "Better than zero data for both." She exhaled a plume of breath. Pride urged her to refuse, but pragmatism held the reins. The orbital mechanics didn't care about human scheduling struggles. Windows closed, opportunities vanished, and the sky moved on. "Fine. 2 hours for you, 6 for me. But I sit with you during your block. If your target shifts into my survey region, we coordinate." "Deal," Eric said. He offered his hand again. After a heartbeat, Ava removed her glove and shook. Their plan bought them warmth as well as data. The control room's heater hummed over racks of servers, blinking amber and green. The Fjordscope's 30-meter dish whirred outside, slewing toward Eric's coordinates first. Ava perched at the auxiliary console, inhaling the comforting ozone scent of electronics. She couldn't help sneaking glances at Eric's profile. Sharp nose, frost-pink cheeks, jaw roughened by blonde stubble. He typed commands in Swedish-flavored English with practiced speed. "What's your target?" she asked, partly to stay awake, partly to test him. 2019 VZ-3, possibly hazardous. Solar elongation's horrible from most latitudes. But up here, we get a grazing view tonight. He rotated the 3D model on his screen. "A few follow-ups, and we tighten its orbit enough to rule out future impact." Ava frowned. "You're in planetary defense, then?" "When grants allow," he said with a grin. "You? Small body population statistics, quantifying objects like yours, so we can predict risks long-term." She shook her head. Funny how our research intersects, but our proposals collide. Cosmic irony, Eric murmured. He hit enter, and a live feed of starfields scrolled past. The asteroid emerged as a faint streak. Excitement straightened Eric's shoulders. Ava watched silently, grudgingly admiring his focus. The gentle touch on the controls, the whispered numbers he fed to the telescope's guidance software. He reminded her of graduate school nights when wonder outweighed exhaustion, before budgets, politics, and citation counts dulled the magic. After 90 minutes, he leaned back, exhaling hard. Got it. 3 solid positions. Orbit fit converged. Congratulations, Ava said, meaning it. Now slide over. They switched chairs. Ava loaded her survey script, a mosaic of high-latitude fields intersecting the ecliptic. The telescope obeyed with mechanical grace. Images began populating the array. Eric didn't leave. Mind if I watch? I've never seen this survey in action. As long as you don't distract me, she said, but she gestured at the spare headset. For an hour, they exchanged only technical remarks, centroid offsets, focus tweaks, filter changes, but under the low hum of machinery, a subtle accord formed, like 2 instruments tuning to the same pitch. The aurora outside intensified, emerald waves beating against the windows. Its charged particles shimmered across their faces, painting Eric's stubble green, turning Ava's brown eyes phosphorescent. Then frame 47 appeared, a bright dot near the field's edge, magnitude 15. Too bright, too tailless for her usual quarry. Ava blinked, ran an astrometric check. The object wasn't in the database. Eric leaned in. New asteroid? Maybe. She overlaid a second exposure. The dot shifted more than background stars, but left a faint smudge, like a comma of haze. Coma? A chill unrelated to the Arctic seeped into her bones. Hold on. She cued a third frame with a narrowband cyan filter. The suspected smudge glowed. Cyanogen emission, Eric whispered. That's a comet. Ava's pulse quickened. If it is, it's far south of known trans-Neptunian families, inside Jupiter's orbit already. She cross-checked solar elongation. Perihelion in 3 weeks. This thing's inbound fast. She met Eric's eyes. Wonder ignited there, reflecting her own. All rivalry dissolved beneath the gravitational pull of discovery. We found it together, he said softly. Both on the scopes, both on the data, she agreed, surprised by how easily the words came. She'd clawed her way up in a field that too often minimized credit. Yet looking at Eric, she felt no threat, only the exhilaration of being first to glimpse a cosmic wanderer, and the joy of having someone to share the moment with. They worked in tandem. Eric optimized exposure times, while Ava calculated a preliminary orbit. Their voices overlapped, finishing each other's sentences the way musicians trade solos. By 0330, they had 7 positions, 3 filters, SNR above 20. Enough for a minor Planet Center submission. Ava checked the clock. 45 minutes until nautical twilight. Let's grab wide fields for dust-tail morphology. On it, Eric said, already scripting. He laughed, a low, rich sound. You drive. I'll make coffee. He returned with 2 steaming mugs. Instant, bitter, but the aroma mingled with the metallic smell of cooling electronics and cold air sneaking through door seals, imprinting itself on Ava's memory. She sipped, eyes on the comet's newborn tail, and felt heat spread through more than her throat. Name? Eric asked. Ava almost choked on coffee. We just discovered it. Protocol, remember? Submit first, provisional designation, then after confirmation. I know, he said, raising a placating hand. But eventually, Comet Ramirez Lund has a nice cadence. Her cheeks warmed. Alphabetical convention usually picks the discoverer's surname first. Unless we use the hyphen to symbolize partnership, not precedence, he countered. A strange tenderness rippled through her. She looked away, pretending to scrutinize the data. Outside, dawn bled pale gold over the ice fields, washing the aurora into transparency. By the time they shut down the telescope, the satellite link was stable. They composed the telegram together, signatures side by side. When Ava clicked send, a quiet settled, as if the observatory itself held its breath, awaiting the ripple of their find through the global network. Fatigue hit like a wave. "I need sleep," Ava admitted. "The dorms are through that tunnel," Eric said. "But first, step outside?" Ava hesitated only a moment. They donned parkas and pushed open the airlock. The cold stabbed her lungs, yet the sky dazzled. Pastel pink, merging with ivory, mountains casting violet shadows on the fjord's frozen surface. Above the telescope dome, a circum-horizontal arc shimmered, sunlight refracted by icy crystals. They walked in silence to a bluff overlooking the water. Cracks in the sea ice emitted distant booms that echoed against cliffs. Ava's breath formed small clouds that drifted away like unspoken thoughts. Eric broke the quiet. "I used to picture discoveries as solitary triumphs, me against the cosmos. But standing here, I realize the universe doesn't care who wins telescope time. It rewards cooperation." Ava traced the horizon with her gaze. "I've spent years guarding my slice of sky. Grants, citations, tenure. Nights like this remind me why I started, to feel connected to something bigger." She dared a sideways glance. "Someone too, maybe." He smiled, eyes crinkling. "The committee will laugh when they see we were double booked and ended up co-discovering a comet. Or they'll scold us for unauthorized collaboration," she joked. "Let them. The data speaks." A gust lifted snow crystals around them, glittering. Eric brushed a flake from her hood. His gloved knuckles lingered near her jawline. "When we submit the official name, we keep the hyphen?" "Yes," she whispered, heart thudding. "Hyphen, mandatory." They stood there until cold seeped through layers. Back inside, they parted for separate dorms. But Ava's dreams swirled with green lights and cyan tails and the warmth of a hand against winter's edge. The next 24 hours unfolded in a blur. The Minor Planet Center assigned provisional designation C-2025A3. Emails flooded in. Requests for coordinates, spectroscopy, press quotes. Eric's Chilean colleagues cheered. Ava's grad students sent emojis of comets and fireworks. The observatory admin arranged a joint press release celebrating the spirit of collaboration under Arctic skies. Amid the uproar, Ava and Eric found small pockets of quiet, printing finder charts side by side, comparing thermal models over reheated reindeer stew, arguing amicably about whether sublimating CO2 or H2O drove the dust jets. Their banter danced along a line neither had the energy nor the inclination to redraw. 2 nights later, clouds swallowed the stars. With observing halted, the station manager organized a sauna session. Ava hesitated at the cedar door, towel wrapped around her. She'd avoided communal saunas since childhood, self-conscious about scars from a rock-climbing fall. But Eric emerged from the steam, hair plastered, grin unguarded. "The trick," he said, "is to imagine you're stripping off academic armor, not clothes." Laughing, she joined him on the highest bench. Heat pressed against skin, melted tension. They talked of childhood constellations. His first meteor shower over a Stockholm archipelago island, her father pointing out Orion from a desert campground. The air thickened with eucalyptus scent, an unspoken possibility. Afterward, they dashed barefoot across snow to roll in a drift, tradition dictating shock therapy. Ava squealed, Eric whooped. They fled back inside, breathless, hearts hammering. That night, in the narrow corridor between dorm rooms, Eric brushed a damp strand of hair from Ava's forehead. "When we leave Svalbard, nothing about funding agencies or national teams changes," he said. "But maybe we do." Ava's pulse roared louder than the wind. "I'd like that." His kiss was tentative at first, lips chilled from the snow, yet warming quickly. She tasted sauna salt, coffee bitterness, and something electric, like the snap of solar wind meeting magnetosphere. Gravity, she thought deliriously, a new orbital resonance. Days merged, calibrations, media calls, shared meals turning naturally into shared jokes, shoulder nudges, lingering glances. Neither labeled the bond. It felt premature, fragile as a newborn comet's coma, but it glowed brighter each rotation of the Earth. On the final night of their overlapping allocations, the sky cleared. They scheduled one last observation together, rationalizing that monitoring the comet's brightening was scientifically essential. Truthfully, neither wanted to surrender the console yet. At 0212, they captured an image of C2025A3 sporting a fan-shaped dust tail 10 arc minutes long. Eric scrolled the contrast. "Beautiful," he breathed. Ava nodded, throat tight. "We won't see it this bright again from the ground once it swings sunward." "Then we should remember this frame," he said softly. "And this moment." She met his gaze. In the dim glow of monitors, his eyes reflected not pixels, but auroras past and eclipse futures. She realized she was no longer merely observing a body at the edge of the solar system. She was charting a trajectory through her own guarded sky with an unexpected gravitational assist. "I don't want this to end at the airport," she confessed. "Me either," Eric said. "There's a conference in Vienna next month. Joint session on small bodies. My team's going." "My poster was accepted," Ava smiled. "Perhaps we could, coordinate schedules. Telescope time, coffee time, all time," he said. His hand found hers beneath the desk. The horizon brightened. They let the telescope finish its script while they watched the first blush of dawn from the control room window, shoulders touching. Over the intercom, the station manager's voice crackled. "Southbound helicopter departs in 2 hours. Pack up, discoverers." Helicopter rotors whipped snow into miniature blizzards on the landing pad. Suitcases lined up like stepping stones back to ordinary life. Ava zipped her parka, scanned the icy peaks one last time, and felt the strange ache of leaving a birthplace, not of herself, but of something between two selves. Eric approached, hoisting his duffel. "I filed the permanent name request," he said, almost shy. "Comet Ramirez Lund," her breath misted. "I'm honored. Next visit," he added, "we'll need more time. There's a whole sky up here we haven't argued over." She laughed. "I'll start drafting the proposal. Synergistic Survey of Northern Comets. A cross-institutional collaboration." "Hyphen mandatory," he reminded her. Rotor wash drowned further words. He squeezed her gloved hand, then climbed aboard. Ava followed, heartbeat syncing with the engine's thrum. As the helicopter lifted, the observatory shrank to a white speck amid endless alabaster. Above, the sun struck ice crystals, sparking a halo around the ascending craft, like the ghost of a comet in daytime sky. Through the window, Eric leaned close. "Look," he mouthed. A faint fuzz hung just above the pale limb of the Earth. C2025A3, rising into sunlight. Ava pressed her palm to the glass. Discovery, wonder, partnership. Held together by a slender hyphen none of the world's committees could erase. Somewhere beyond the stratosphere, the comet sped on, shedding ice forged before humans learned to kindle fire. Its orbit now charted, its name a whispered promise stretching across dark and dawn. Behind it trailed a filament of dust, and, in its wake, two hearts set on a new trajectory, bound by the gravity of shared sky.